Paris was supposed to be a break, a last-minute escape, a quiet family getaway before the storm of a presidential election. But for Ye-rin, the impulsive, 20-year-old daughter of Korea's most powerful political figure, it became the beginning of a nightmare. What started as a harmless night out, with strangers she met online, spiraled into something far darker. Too much alcohol, a stranger she couldn't resist, a decision she couldn't undo, and by morning, someone was dead. And this was just the beginning of a family nightmare and political titan, the leading candidate for president. That same hour after the breaking news on radio and TV stations, Ye-rin, billionaire politician, received a call thousands of miles away from Seoul, Korea that changed everything. "You have 48 hours to step down from the race." Before he could respond, his phone vibrated, pinged notification again. A message. It was a video, a 48 seconds long video. Oh, his wife, naked, nude, in bed with his former aide and bodyguard. A betrayal he thought buried many years ago. A scandal he paid millions to silence. And now, it's back. A second notification message pinged. More threats. The second message read, "This is just the beginning. The darker secrets will be released in the next 48 hours if you refuse. Watch out." Suddenly, this wasn't just politics. It wasn't just war. To be continued. Please like, share, and subscribe to support more stories on our YouTube channel. Paris had always existed in Ye-rin's mind as a symbol. Not of politics, not of power, but of pause. A place untouched by the noise. The private jet cut cleanly through the night sky, leaving behind the restless hum of Seoul. The campaign speeches, the calculated smiles, the endless scrutiny. Inside, the cabin was dimly lit. Soft amber light brushed against polished surfaces and quiet luxury. For the first time in months, Ye-rin slept. Not the shallow, guarded sleep of a man under pressure, but the deep, surrendered rest of someone who believed, even if briefly, that he had escaped. Across the aisle, Ye-rin was wide awake. Her face glowed in the dark, illuminated by her phone screen. Her fingers moved quickly, almost instinctively, scrolling, posting, replying. A soft laugh escaped her lips. "Paris, baby. Finally." With a tap, she uploaded a photo. The wing of the jet, the skyline beneath them. Caption, "Guess where we're headed?" Within seconds, notifications exploded, likes, comments, messages, strangers welcoming her, locals recommending places. A flood of excitement she couldn't resist diving into. By the time they landed at Le Bourget airport, the Parisian air was crisp, cool, deceptively calm. Ye-rin stepped onto the tarmac and inhaled deeply. No cameras, no press, no political rivals dissecting his every move. Just silence. He turned slightly, watching his daughter step out behind him, radiant, carefree, untouched by the weight he carried. And for a moment, he allowed himself to believe this trip would be different. But Paris was already watching. That evening, tucked away in a quiet arrondissement, Ye-rin lay sprawled across her hotel bed, shoes kicked off, hair slightly undone, her energy still buzzing. Her phone vibrated again. Another message, another stranger, but this one felt different. "I can show you the real Paris." The message was simple, confident, effortless. The sender's name, Julian Moreau. His profile was curated but not obvious. Photos of cafes, narrow streets, books, glimpses of a life that felt authentic. And then, a photo of him. Sharp jawline, soft eyes, a smile that didn't try too hard. Ye-rin paused, then smiled. "You're an interpreter?" she typed. A reply came almost instantly. "Among other things." Miles away, in a dimly lit room far removed from Parisian romance, another screen glowed. Not with curiosity, but with calculation. A man leaned back in his chair, eyes fixed on the same conversation unfolding in real time. Multiple monitors surrounded him. Data streams, social feeds, surveillance overlays. Ye-rin's profile was open, tagged, tracked, every post, every message, every move. "Hooked already," another voice muttered from the shadows. The man at the center didn't smile, and he simply nodded. "Good." A file flickered onto the main screen. Target, Tae-shin. Weakness, family, daughter, primary vector. Below it, a photo of Julian Moreau. Not a casual snapshot. A dossier image, controlled, selected. Back in the hotel, Ye-rin rolled onto her stomach, chin resting on her pillow, completely unaware of the web tightening around her. "Take me somewhere fun," she typed. 3 dots appeared, paused, disappeared. Then, "Tomorrow night. I'll make it unforgettable." Across the city, under the soft glow of streetlights and the quiet hum of Parisian life, Julian Moreau stepped out onto a balcony, his phone still in hand, his expression no longer warm, no longer charming, just focused. He looked down at the city below, then spoke quietly into the darkness behind him. "She's in." A figure emerged from the shadows. "Good," the voice replied. "Don't rush it." Julian's grip on the phone tightened slightly. "And the father?" A brief silence. Then, "We break him. Through her." The balcony door slid shut. The night swallowed the sound, and somewhere in the distance the city of Paris shimmered, beautiful, indifferent, and quietly complicit. Paris didn't rush. It unfolded, slowly, seductively, like a secret waiting to be told. By early evening, the city had softened into gold. Streetlights flickered awake one by one, casting warm halos over cobbled streets still humming with life. Laughter spilled from cafes, glasses clinked, music drifted lazily through the air. From the balcony of their luxury suite, Ye-rin leaned against the railing, her fingers loosely wrapped around her phone. Her reflection stared back at her from the glass door behind. Effortless, beautiful, restless. Her screen lit up. "Julian. I'm downstairs." A pause. Then her heart. Quick, sudden, undeniable. She didn't tell her father. Didn't leave a note. Just a quick glance at the closed door of Tae-shin's suite across the hall. And she slipped away. The hotel lobby smelled faintly of polished marble and expensive perfume. And there he was, leaning casually near the entrance as if he belonged there, as if he had always belonged everywhere. Julian Moreau, dark coat, collar slightly raised, eyes that found hers instantly. He didn't wave, he didn't need to. He just smiled. And somehow, that was enough. "Ready?" he asked, his voice smooth, laced with quiet confidence. Ye-rin tilted her head, a playful challenge in her eyes. "That depends. Are you as good as you said you are?" A flicker of amusement crossed his face. "Better." Paris moved differently with him beside her. The streets felt narrower, the lights warmer, the night closer. They walked side by side through winding alleys where music echoed off old stone walls. A violinist played under a bridge, the melody soft and aching like something remembered but not fully understood. Julian spoke as they walked, about history, about hidden corners of the city, about places tourists never found. But it wasn't what he said, it was how he said it. Measured, intentional, like every word had been chosen long before she arrived. They stopped at a small bar tucked between 2 buildings, almost invisible unless you knew where to look. Inside, it pulsed with low light and quiet energy. Amber, velvet, shadow. The scent of wine and citrus hung in the air. Ye-rin laughed softly as she slipped onto a stool, brushing her hair back. "Okay, I'll admit it. This is good. Julian leaned slightly closer, his gaze steady. I told you. Real Paris. The drinks came quickly. Deep red wine, rich, smooth. The first sip warmed her instantly. The second loosened something. By the third, the world felt lighter. Edges softened. Time stretched. They talked. About nothing. About everything. She told him about soul, about the pressure she pretended didn't exist, about being seen but never really known. He listened, not distracted and not performative, just present. And that was new. But beneath the table, Julian's phone buzzed once. He didn't look at it, didn't move, but his jaw tightened, just slightly. Unknown message. Proceed. Ye-rin didn't notice. She was watching him now. Really watching him. The way his fingers traced the rim of his glass, the way his eyes lingered half a second too long. There was something about him, something she couldn't quite place. Dangerous. But not in a way that scared her, in a way that pulled her closer. Let's go somewhere else, he said suddenly. Not a question, a suggestion wrapped in certainty. Outside, the air had cooled. The streets were quieter now, the city slipping into something more intimate. They walked less, talked less. The silence between them no longer empty, but charged. His apartment was on the 4th floor of an old Parisian building. Narrow staircase, dim lights, the faint echo of their footsteps climbing higher. By the time they reached his door, Ye-rin's pulse had changed. Slower, heavier, inside, soft lighting, minimal and deliberate. A space that felt lived in, but curated, like everything else about him. I should go soon, she said lightly, though she didn't move. Julian stepped closer. Not touching, not yet. You don't want to. A statement, not a question. And for a moment, she didn't. The night blurred after that. Laughter fading into quiet, distance dissolving into closeness, thought replaced by feeling. But somewhere, just beyond the edges of the moment, something shifted. A glass tipped, not shattered, just enough. A faint, almost imperceptible sound. Julian's eyes flicked toward it. Sharp, alert, gone again just as quickly. Ye-rin didn't notice. Later. Much later. As Paris slept, and the world outside faded into silence. A shadow moved across the room, unfamiliar, uninvited, and in the stillness that followed. A sound, soft. Wrong. By morning. Everything was different. Morning didn't arrive gently. It crept in like a scene in the drama, Midsummer Murders. A thin blade of sunlight slipped through the curtains, cutting across the room like something intrusive, unwelcome. Dust floated in the beam, still, suspended. The air felt heavier than it should have. Ye-rin stirred. A slow inhale. Her head throbbed, dull at first, then sharper as consciousness pushed its way back in. Her mouth was dry. Her body, heavier than usual. Wrong. She blinked. Once. Twice. The ceiling above her loomed unfamiliar. Not the hotel, not her room. Her memory came in fragments. It couldn't have been the wine, not the laughter, not Julian's voice, the walk, the stairs. Then, nothing she could think of. Then she quietly pushed herself up slightly, wincing as the room tilted for a brief second. The sheets slid against her bare skin. Bare. How did this happen? Ye-rin asked herself. She couldn't remember giving consent. She froze. A flicker of confusion passed across her face, then discomfort. Julian? She called softly. No answer. The apartment was quiet. Not peaceful quiet, the kind that presses against your ears until it becomes unbearable. She swung her legs off the bed. The floor was cold, grounding, too grounding. "Julian!" she called again, louder this time. Still nothing, no answer. Her gaze drifted across the room. A chair, a jacket, two glasses on the table, one upright, one tipped. A thin, dried line of wine staining the wood like something that had bled and been forgotten. And then she saw it. At first, her mind refused to understand what she was looking at. It didn't fit, and it didn't belong neither. A shape. On the floor, partially hidden beyond the edge of the bed. Too still, too unnatural. Her breath caught. Not sharp, not dramatic, just gone. Slowly, as if pulled by something she couldn't resist. She stood, one step, then another, and then the world snapped into focus. A man lay dead on the floor, lying on his side, eyes open, unmoving. There was something dark beneath him, something spreading like blood, something that shouldn't be there. Ye-rin staggered back. Her hand flew to her mouth, but no sound came out. Her chest tightened violently. Air refused to come. "No! No! No! I didn't do it!" The words barely formed. Her eyes darted wildly around the room, searching for clues, rejecting the reality of her situation, trying to rewrite what she was seeing. "Julian," she whispered. But the man on the floor was not moving. He was dead cold. And Julian was gone. The silence returned. Louder now, deafening. Her pulse roared in her ears. Her vision blurred at the edges. "I have got to think. She stumbled toward the table, grabbing her phone with trembling hands. The screen lit up. Too bright, too sharp. What? 12 missed notifications, messages, unknown numbers, a few from her father. Her fingers shook as she tried to unlock it. Failed. Tried again. Unlocked. And then a message appeared. New, unknown sender. She froze. "You were never supposed to wake up this early." Her blood ran cold. Another message. "Now is the time to run." A sound. Outside the apartment. Distant at first. Then clearer. A siren. Ye-rin's head snapped toward the door. Her breathing quickened, shallow and sharp. "No. No, no, no. I have been set up." Her eyes dropped to the floor again. To the body. To the reality she couldn't escape. And then something else. Her gaze locked onto her own hand. There was a faint stain on her fingers. Dark. Dried. She stumbled back violently. "No, I didn't do it." But the evidence didn't care. The room didn't care. The truth, whatever it was already moving without her. The sirens grew louder, closer. Panic surged through her like wildfire. She grabbed her clothes. Her movements were frantic, uncoordinated, her mind racing ahead of her body, failing to catch up. The door, the hallway, the stairs. Each step felt unreal, like she was watching herself from somewhere else. Behind her, in that quiet apartment. The scene remained, carefully arranged, perfectly timed. A setup, executed flawlessly. Outside, Paris continued as if nothing had happened. Cars moved, people laughed, morning unfolded like any other day. But for Ye-rin, everything had already ended. As she stepped out into the street, breathless, terrified, alone. Her phone buzzed again. She didn't want to look, but she did. A video. 48 seconds. Her thumb hovered, then pressed play. Her eyes widened. Her body went still. And in that moment, before the world could close in completely, she understood. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a mistake. This was a war. Paris was no longer beautiful. It was watching. The city had already moved on. But Ye-rin hadn't. She walked fast now, not running, not yet, but fast enough to disappear into movement. Her hoodie pulled low, hair tucked in, eyes scanning everything and nothing all at once. Every sound felt amplified, every face suspicious. A cafe door opened suddenly beside her. She flinched. A man stepped out, laughing into his phone. Normal. Everything was normal. Except her. Her chest tightened again. She forced herself to breathe slower, controlled, measured, think. You need to think! Her phone buzzed. She froze. Didn't reach for it immediately this time. That small hesitation. That was new. Then slowly, she pulled it out. You're adapting. Her jaw clenched. Good. That means you want to live. Her eyes darted around the street again. Still nothing. Still everything. Turn left. She didn't move. Now. A beat. Then she turned. Meanwhile, in the luxury hotel suite, silence lived on the private floor. It was controlled, engineered silence. Floor-to-ceiling glass overlooked the city, but the curtains were only half open, filtering the light into something muted, restrained. Inside, everything was immaculate, untouched. Tae-shin stood near the window, sleeves rolled slightly, tie loosened just enough to suggest rest, but not weakness. On the table behind him, multiple phones, a secured laptop, documents spread with precision. Even here, he was still campaigning. A voice echoed faintly from his laptop speakers. Polling remains in your favor, but the opposition is escalating online narratives. Tae-shin didn't respond immediately. His eyes were on the city, unmoving. Sir? The voice pressed. He turned slightly. Control the narrative. Of course, but there's unusual activity. Your daughter's social media. A knock, soft but deliberate. Tae-shin's gaze shifted. Hold! He muted the call. The door opened. His security aide stepped in, posture tight. Sir, we have a situation. Something in the tone. Not panic, not fear, but precision under pressure. Tae-shin's expression changed, just slightly. Speak. A pause. Your daughter's location has been compromised. The room shrank. Compromised how? Leaked, circulating in closed networks, expanding fast. A beat. Shut it down. We're trying, sir, but... His phone rang. Unknown number. Everything stopped. Tae-shin stared at it, then answered. Who is this? Silence, measured, intentional. Then, a voice, distorted, close, too close. Paris suits you. A flicker in Tae-shin's eyes. What do you want? A soft exhale on the other end, almost amused. You should be very proud of your daughter. The words landed wrong, heavy. Tae-shin stepped away from the others instinctively, lowering his voice. If this is about money? A quiet chuckle. No, this is about power. A pause, then, you have 48 hours. The air shifted. Withdraw from the presidential race. Tae-shin's grip tightened. Or your daughter's situation becomes public. His eyes darkened instantly. What situation? A beat. She ran. The word echoed. Wrong. And where do you think she's running from? The line went dead. No warning. No explanation. Just silence. Then, a message. WhatsApp. Tae-shin didn't open it immediately. Didn't need to. He already knew. This was the real attack. Slowly. He pressed play. The room disappeared. The glass. The city. The people behind him. Gone. Just the screen. 48 seconds. When it ended, he didn't react. Not outwardly. But something inside him collapsed. Then hardened. He locked the phone. turned. His voice was calm, too calm. "Find my daughter." The room didn't move, didn't breathe. Then, "Now." Her movements was being monitored and controlled from a secret control room in an unknown location. She probably thought they were helping her get away. In fact, it was the opposite. Screens flickered in darkness, multiple angles, street feeds, tracking overlays, Ye-rin turning left, exactly as instructed. The man at the center watched without emotion, hands clasped, still. "Father's engaged," someone said quietly. A slight nod. "Good." On another screen. Tae-shin, inside the suite, contained. "Keep them close," the man added. A pause. "It's more effective when they're near each other." Ye-rin slowed, breathing uneven, heart racing. Her phone buzzed again. She looked. "Stop." She did. "Look up." Slowly. She lifted her gaze. Across the street. A camera. Fixed. Watching. Her breath caught. "Now you understand." Her hand trembled. "You're not running." A beat. "You're being moved." Her world tilted. And somewhere, not far, her father stood in a glass tower, fighting a war he couldn't yet see. To be continued. Please like, share, and subscribe to support our YouTube channel and the viral growth of K-drama stories here on Thrill Flicks 54.